This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1009. Suddenly Out of Love. How Did It Happen? By Corbano of lovesagame.com. Hello, everybody. I am your host and narrator, Greg Audino. Hope you are all doing well today and that you are ready to resume your journey towards better relationships. And sharing his work with us today will be Eddie Corbano. Eddie is a regular contributor to the show and addresses breakups specifically. And today he'll be tackling the question of why it is that people suddenly fall out of love. He's got some great explanations that I would think will offer closure to many and guidance to others. Let's see what he has to say, start this post, and optimize your life. Suddenly Out of Love. How Did It Happen? By Eddie Corbano of lovesagame.com. It seems to be a complete mystery to fall out of love. Something we cannot understand, and yet it happens every day all around us. People who used to love each other madly suddenly fall out of love, just like that. What are the reasons? Sarah's story. Sarah and her boyfriend had been the perfect couple. It was as if they had waited for each other their whole lives. They had the same hobbies, they liked the same things, they see each other as soulmates. This went on happily for 2 years, the perfect relationship. Until her boyfriend suddenly started to pull back, to act strange and get distant. Eventually, he broke up with her. When she asked for the reason, he replied that he did not love her anymore. Sound familiar? Has this also happened to you or someone you know? A disappointment? Isn't true love meant to be forever? Well, I cannot give you an answer to this one, but I can advise you that you need to examine your perception of true love. I can tell you, all that glistens is not gold. A high expectation of true love and a distorted romantic view of the ideal concept of love can disturb the view to having a fulfilling and healthy relationship. A realistic view is vital. What is the main reason that people fall out of love? Of course, there are numerous reasons why people break up, but they are not always the same ones as to why people fall out of love. The term to fall out of love implies that they've been in love before, and all of a sudden the love is gone. This is, of course, an illusion. Nobody loses his love overnight. In my experience, there are 3 main reasons why people stop loving, and therefore break up with their partners. Number 1, their expectations weren't met. If you meet a person to whom you are really attracted, you tend to idealize things. You fall in love with that person because everything is so new, so fresh, the intimacy is great, you're having a great time discovering all the positive attributes of your partner, all your needs and expectations are being addressed, and when they're not, you simply put your rose-colored glasses on. The problem here is that your view of your partner is not always a realistic one, because everyone gives their best, tries to show a better self, and hide possible flaws. We accommodate and compromise much easier at the beginning. The problem here is that they met each other's expectations at the beginning, but later on in the relationship, when the fire has cooled off a little, they tend to pull off their masks and show their real selves. Now, suddenly, there is no more compromising, no more accommodation, no more meeting the partner's needs, just the pure, unfiltered them. And here is where it can lead to conflicts, because someone will not have their needs fulfilled and will feel betrayed in a way. This is usually the moment when the person falls out of love. Number 2, was it love in the first place? Another problem is that people very often cannot say if they're in love or not. They confuse physical fulfillment with love. This happens very often to young people or people who have been in a long-term relationship or marriage for a lot of years. They confuse the initial fulfillment of a need which has not been met for a long time with love. Once this urge has been satisfied, they suddenly lose interest and fall out of love. Of course it was not love in the first place, and that is why the whole thing appears to come out of the blue. Number 3, mistreatment. Unfortunately, it happens frequently, especially with men, that they start sweet and kind, and later on, they become loud and abusive. Violence is, of course, the most extreme case. Very often, the partners suddenly change their behavior in ways that cannot be tolerated anymore by the other one. Good examples are narcotic and alcohol abuse. The partner finds that they are very disappointed and lose their love because their basic needs aren't provided anymore. The relationship isn't fulfilling and healthy. Conclusion. The knowledge of the 3 reasons why people can fall out of love can be helpful to us. They can teach us how to behave correctly at the beginning of a relationship. We have to have realistic expectations about love and relationships. And most of all, we have to be who we are right from the beginning. Make clear what your needs are despite the risk that your new partner might not love it. Pretending and cutting back your basic needs will only draw a false picture of you, a picture which will fade with time and possibly make your partner eventually fall out of love with you. Would you take that risk? I won't. Your friend, Eddie Corbano. You just listened to the post titled, Suddenly Out of Love, How Did It Happen? By Eddie Corbano of lovesagame.com. And everybody, we come to the OLD community to work on ourselves, right? We all want to do this, especially long term. But therapy can be expensive. Well, there's a new way to grow that we're really excited to be partnering with, and that's Tat Lab. Tat Lab, or the Angry Therapist Lab, has live Zoom classes led by a team of therapists and coaches on everything from relationship building tools to conquering codependency, trauma work to breath work, even astrology readings. There's also a social hour in which everyone can talk freely and build new friendships. See, this is not therapy. It's part lecture and part group engagement, a fun way to work on your emotional well-being from home and meet like-minded people while doing so. So go to tatlab.app and use discount code ORD at checkout to get unlimited live classes, plus hundreds of hours of audio lessons and courses on a variety of wellness topics for only $20, the price of a gym class drop-in fee, for a limited time only. Again, go to www.tatlab.app and the discount code is ORD, all letters in lowercase. This is the new way to grow. We'll see you in the lab. And a really great post from Eddie today. Thanks so much to him. A very eye-opening post, too, that really may be more helpful to those who are entering a relationship than those who are going through a breakup. And I say that because, just like anything else, it's important to highlight the downsides of new and exciting relationships. I know that sounds weird, but like you said, it's just so easy to idealize and jump to all that we want to happen. Well, what about everything that we don't want to happen? What about the types of baggage our partners come with? What do we disagree on? How do our routines differ? It is not pessimistic to ask such questions, but rather it prepares you for what life will be like when things settle into normal. And there are portions of the relationship that aren't entirely perfect. Which of those are you willing to tolerate, and which of those are you not willing to tolerate? The faster we can identify which of our partner's flaws we can accept versus which of their flaws we can't, the more grounded the relationship will become, and the easier it'll be to grow slowly and steadily rather than experiencing an emotional roller coaster. Food for thought, lovebirds. I'm out of here for now, but thanks a lot for joining me today for this great post from Eddie, and I'm wishing all of you a great start to your week. Be sure to come on back tomorrow where I will have another post for you to help you through those relationships and where your optimal life awaits.